Welcome to the Frayed Brush. I'm Big Aaron. It's been a few days since we've done a video, so starting this one off over at the 3D printing table. See, we got the ultrasonic cleaner, the LG Mars 2 Pro, and this is the Focus Odin 5 F3. I want to give a shout out to Jamie from over at Homemade Jam 3D and Focus, because if it wasn't for her and the company, probably would not have this printer. The model club I'm a member of put on a contest a couple weeks back. This was in the raffle, and it was brought to the raffle by Jamie, courtesy of Focus, and I won the raffle. So I've had it going, printed a few things off of it. Seems to be a great printer. There were some things that I had to get used to, which we'll get into in just a minute. Actually, we'll get into them right now. Number one, it is not as fast as the resin printer, but this has a 9" by 9" by almost 10" build area, which is significantly larger than the Mars 2 Pro. You know, I'm working on the big Justice League diorama, which is what's going to be kind of the main focus of today's video. But there were certain parts of that diorama that would not fit on the Mars 2 Pro that would fit on the Focus Odin 5. So really quiet, really easy to set up. This is, from what I understand, one of the first foldable 3D printers. Came pretty much assembled, except for I had to fold up the gantry, put in 4 bolts, and make sure everything was tight. Hooked in 2 ribbon cables, throw a spool up there, and started printing. So really happy with the printer so far. Now, the Justice League diorama, okay? This is every piece of the Justice League diorama printed out. And just to give you an idea of how much space this is taking up, this is I think a 30 by 20 piece of black foam board that this is sitting on. I remember Aquaman from my Aquaman video, still working on him, as you can tell. A lot of pieces to this. This right here, this is the actual base. This is what I've assembled so far. And this alone was 8 different pieces. Okay, so we got that put together. That's what we're going to be working on today. As far as the printers go, this is a piece that was printed by the resin printer. Okay, this is a piece that was printed by the this one's a little bit better. This is a piece that was printed by the Odin F5. As you can see, the Odin F5 only goes down to a 1mm layer line, where I have my Mars 2 Pro down to a 0.03mm. So there's a little bit of difference in layer lines there and some cleanup work. These were white, but I went ahead and primed them because white under light, it's hard to see, you know, how the layer lines are and everything else. We'll get into the smoke portion later. That'll be a different video, but this is it. This is the whole thing. This is the base, the smoke, and all 6 figures that are gonna go onto it. Had to kind of switch gears a little bit, because as you know, I started with the Aquaman, right? Then you got to thinking, you know, we'll sit here and bang out, you know, these 6 figures, and, you know, then they're just going to be laying wherever, you know, getting damaged, scraped up, dinged up, broke, whatever the case may be. So I decided to go ahead and build the base first. So we're building the base, and then later on we're going to be building the smoke, which the smoke kind of is representative of like an explosion from the base that all the heroes are coming out of. So we're gonna be trying a new product today, not new to the market, but new to me using, and possibly somewhat maybe new to the hobby. To do that, we're gonna have to switch gears and go out into the garage. because I've never used it before. I'm not sure how the vapor is going to be or anything like that, so it's better using a place where we can get everything aired out and get it going. So we'll be back in just a minute and we'll be set up in the garage, ready to go. Okay, so we're in the garage. I know the lighting might be kind of weird. I'm kind of sitting perpendicular to the garage door, kind of to the side, so the light's kind of coming in at a weird angle, but that's all right, we'll work through it. So here we go. This is the product, Bondo glazing and spotting putty. I did some looking around online to try to find something to use on larger 3D prints to kind of help smooth out the layer lines a little bit faster than just putting layer after layer of spray paint on and using the alcohol smoothing and stuff people use, stuff like that. So we're gonna give this a try. For the first part of actually putting this together, I used some Milliput standard yellow, I think. And you can see spots like right here. I was actually pretty pleased with the way most of it came out filled, because I'm not real big into using Milliput, not as big as I should be. There's a little bit of a line there and there and there. You can kind of see where it goes across here, and then the vertical line here somewhat, and then right here. I'm not necessarily worried about the top, because the smoke that you saw earlier laid out on the painting table, for the most part covers majority of this up. So I'm not quite sure how much you're gonna be able to see, if it's any at all. So we're gonna use some of this glazing and spot putty, and we're gonna attempt to kind of fill in some of these finer lines and maybe get a little bit better of a look on those joints. So let's go ahead and get this out of here. I've never used this stuff before. That's why we're out in the garage door open, because smells, stuff like that. So we're gonna try it this way. We're just gonna get a little bit on the finger. Now you're supposed to be able to just put this on. Yeah, that is pretty strong. You're supposed to be able to just put this on, okay? And then kind of smooth it out. Matter of fact, we might wanna do it a little bit different. But we'll see how it turns out. Get some on there. I don't want a little bit of texture, because we want to be able to kind of sand around it for the most part. It's about 65, 66 degrees here right now. Sunny. So the package says this stuff takes 20 to 25 minutes to dry at 70 degrees Celsius. So once we get this put on, we're going to let it sit for probably about 30 minutes. Because we want to make sure it's dry. And I got me some varying degrees of, or varying grits of sanding sponges. I don't know if it's the light or what, but it's like I'm not seeing as many things on it out here as I was inside. I don't think I'm putting this on too thick, as it's meant for like car bodies and stuff. So just kind of shoving it in there, covering everything up. Like I said, I don't care if there's texture or anything, because it's actually getting stiff already. So this might be a lot faster than I thought. But I think we're actually about done applying it anyway, so good for us. You can still see. But yeah, I think this might work out okay. We'll see how it looks when we go to sand. And then there's a large gargoyle that goes, the main body goes here, and the wings spread past these corner pieces here. So they're essentially covered up. And if I put this in a contest and somebody dings me for, you know, a gap that's not even visible, then I probably don't need to be in that contest anyway. So, let me double check here. A couple little areas where we can kind of maybe get rid of a little bit of a line. But smush it in right there, that'll be good. Looks good, looks good. Not worried about that. You know what? Hey, we're already doing it right. Go big or go home. No half stepping. So we'll go ahead and smear that across here on this line. And see if we can kind of blend it in a little bit. I really hope this stuff works. It's about $5 for a tube, roughly. And you know, based off this, I'm barely dipping into the tube. So that one right there is pretty good. All right, so we're gonna let this dry for a few minutes, and then we'll come back. I'll probably hit it with the sanding block off camera just because it's boring to watch somebody sand. But we'll see what it looks like after it's sanded, and then we'll hit it with some primer, and we'll see what it looks like after it's primed. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes or so, I think. This feels pretty well dry. So I picked up these sanding sponges from Walmart. They're made by Rust-Oleum. This one's 1,000 and 1,500 grit. This one's 400, 600 grit, and this one's 180, 320 grit. I think we're gonna try to hit them with the 400 first. Just kind of get it knocked off. It's kind of a big sanding sponge for this, but I mean, it's a big item to sand. Okay, actually, you know what? We're gonna start with what was this one? Well, we'll try the 600, see if that knocks it down any quicker. You can still feel it there. It's not knocking it down very quick. So let's try a 320. Might be doing it right there. That might be the trick. Not worried about the marks from the sandpaper or from the sanding sponge too much, because I'm also going to show you the primer that I started using. That'll be good. And it doesn't have to be completely smooth because, I mean, it is a concrete textured base. So biggest concern is, I guess, really just kind of getting stuff off that's kind of gives it a messed up look almost. But with it being a concrete base, it doesn't have to be completely smooth. A little bit of texture might actually do it some good. Looks like we might have missed a little bit right there. No, we didn't. A little bit, but I mean, it's one of those things too. You know, some imperfections might add something to it. I know this light's really bad. because of my garage is situated facing the east, and of course it's probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon now, so we're catching the light from across the house now rather than, you know, sunlight coming in the garage. And in a second, we'll talk about my my new go-to primer for larger projects, stuff that doesn't require as much fine detail. All right, I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. I'm happy with the way it's looking, so let's move this stuff out of the way. So the new primer I've started using, especially for larger prints to rattle can, is this Rust-Oleum filler primer. It says high build formula, fills imperfections. It really does a good job of it. This is actually what I used on the Aquaman before I painted him, and it really did a good job of putting a good coat of primer on there without actually like obstructing any detail. I even primed his head in this, and Sanix, the guy that designs these models, actually sculpts in the pupils, and even using this high build formula, you could still see the pupil. It didn't obstruct anything. So really pleased with this spray can, this spray primer. And I'll be sure and leave links to Sanix and Jamie from Homemade Jam 3D in the description after the video. So let's just get some of this on here real quick and see. This is a table that my wife and I use for spray painting out in the garage, so it's not gonna tear anything up. And I think we'll just do the two sides so we can still have a way to hold it. Whoops, hold on. Man, I tell you what, that Bondo really comes through, doesn't it? Where is it at? That's right there. A little chillier than usual for my spray painting as well. Okay, so from looking at it, it looks like it did real good here. Real good, actually. I don't think I ran any across there. Maybe, I don't remember. It did good on the back. We'll go ahead. Let's go ahead and knock this out right here. See if I can do it up. Paint all my fingers. Okay. So it did good on that one too. A little bit of depression in there. That could be where, you know, the pieces slipped when I was gluing them together, whatever the case may be. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I think this is totally acceptable. So I think that's going to be all for this video. This just had glued together, had primer on it. We went in, we took some of the, well, first I took the yellow Milliput. I think it's in the white box with the red writing. And, you know, mixed that up, filled in the gaps as much as possible. Didn't really like the way that filled. That's totally user error, by the way. I've seen people like Aaron Lovejoy and everybody do amazing, and Marco Frazzoni from Not Just Makeup. I've seen plenty of people do amazing things with Milliput. I just haven't worked with it enough to be good with it. Then did some research, and so we came back after it was primed and had those filled. Went in with the glazing and spot putty. Really pleased with the way that did. Really easy to use. So make sure you're in a ventilated area, because even in my garage when I first opened it and, you know, got some out of the tube, it had a strong odor to it. Then once that was dry, sanded it using our sanding blocks from Rust-Oleum. It's funny because Gator makes sandpaper, and I guess Gator is maybe a sandpaper manufacturer, and it's put out by Rust-Oleum. But I've actually gotten some Gator sandpaper just for around the house projects, like the big sheets of it, stuff like that. So went over with those, and then hit it with the filler primer from Rust-Oleum, high build formula. And show you one more time. There's our result. Really pleased with it. I think we're gonna stay there with that. Got to do too much, you'll just end up messing it up. So next video we do, we're gonna be going over painting the base. Get in there, paint some concrete, paint some, try to paint some wrought iron. Never painted wrought iron before, so we'll see how that turns out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, subscribes are always appreciated. Remember, give it that thumbs up and hit that bell icon so you know when the next frayed brush video comes out. And hope everybody has a great day. And until next time, remember, Big Aaron sent you.